individuals are really serving the Lord the way they should. But right now, let's all be quiet. Let's turn our hearts to the Lord. I'm going to open us with a prayer for our meeting. We have reached quorum. We thank you for Kiowa members, Lord, for coming, okay? All right, so let's bow our heads. Let's talk to the Lord, and then we'll get in with our meeting. Father, we just come to you, Father. We thank you so much for what you've done for us, what you're doing for us, and what you're going to do for us. Father, we thank you for this gesture of this bench. May it be used for your purpose, Lord, as we sit it in our office, Father, to remind us that we are a praying people. We look to you for our strength and our guidance and our direction. And Lord, your word says, where there's no vision, the people perish, Lord. Help us get our vision so that we can move into the future and be a strong nation, that we can continue to take care of our children, our elders, and ourselves. Father, I just ask that you just be in our meeting today. Father, may we be like-minded. May our frustrations be low, Father, that we can just make good decisions today, and that we can move forward with this new document that has been prayed over and worked on and studied. And I just thank you for the people that had that vision, Father, to move us into the future. And I just thank you for Jacob and Connie for serving as our secretary and our chairman today. Father, I thank you for Davetta and the work that she puts in. And I thank you for the executive branch, Matt and Rhonda, and Ernie and Dawn, for the efforts that they make for us. And Lord, I thank you for the legislature, Father, for the work that they do in continuing to move us forward. And I just lay all this at your feet, Lord, and I just ask you just be with us at this day, and just move through our midst, Lord, and just let us feel your spirit in this place. And I ask all these things in Jesus' holy and precious name. Amen.
Call the meeting to order. The chair recognizes the individual. Tell us your name and where you're from.
Sandra Miller. My mother is Thelma Colity Bowman. I'm from Fort Cobb. I just want to compliment the leaders, because it's not an easy job. We appreciate you, for you that can have the boldness to be a leader. And it's not easy. People are very, sometimes not easy to work with, but there are those that do appreciate that, and we do pray for you, because we're going to move forward. There's many people that are tired of being in the stagnant situation that we've been in. We want to move forward, and we want to leave something for posterity. But my point that I wanted to make, and I would like to know if we can explore registration for those Kiowa members who are in attendance via live stream Facebook. And before anybody says we can't, I say we can. In this day and time, we shouldn't have to wait on a quorum, because I'll bet we had a quorum this morning because there are Kiowa members that were tuned in. And I know that for a fact, because I have to learn a lot of stuff from my sister, who faithfully watches from Washington State. So, we ought to give them a voice. And there is a way, because they do it all the time. And many meetings are conducted not in person, but with, people living in different places. So I would like to ask whoever it is that could probably look into this and create a process. And I know that there are security issues, but we can do it, and then we won't have to keep waiting, because that is not a good use of resources and people's time. And we ought to be able to utilize this, the IT. And I would like to suggest that we look into that and not wait and, say someday, but do it. Let's find a way to have a quorum without having to wait like we have. That is really incompetent of us as a people to do that. That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. We will proceed with resolution KICCY 0054. Is the author of this resolution present? Miss Linda Yago. Okay. The resolution reads as follows. Whereas, I'm not reading the whole thing. Whereas the Kiowa Tribe Elders met in a group meeting on January 29th, 2019 at 2 p.m. at the AOA building in Carnegie, Oklahoma. And whereas the Kiowa Tribal Elders concluded that the Kiowa Tribe Compliance Officer will adhere in support of all Kiowa tribal programs and follow protocol regarding federal, state, and tribal funding, i.e. FAS, Fast Trans, CHR, handicap, and elders programs, and to provide helpers assistance for the handicapped and elders who are in need. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be the policy of the Kiowa Tribe until it is withdrawn or modified by subsequent resolution. Is there a motion? There's a motion. If you would come to the mic, there's a mic on this yellow table and a mic on this blue table. Unless you are immobile. If you can't, could one of our candidates, Ronnie, could you run it? Could you run that mic to there? Could you follow that mic?
No, Steve Smith, I'm not leaving. I was trying to get up to the microphone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I so move that we accept this resolution.
Your name?
Martha Kumsa Perez.
Motion is made by Martha Kumsa Perez to approve Resolution 54. Is there a second? Microphone? Could somebody run the microphone to the hand that's being raised? One on the blue table. Over here.
My name is Anita Johnson. I second.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve Resolution 0054. Our counters, will you get your counter tabulations ready? And your assigned colors? Davetta, can you tell them the colors? If you don't know which color to count, check with Davetta. Seven. We need one more counter. We need one more counter. We need one more counter. She was already had her hand up. One more. We cannot have a vote without a counter. One more counter. Surely there is one able-bodied Kiowa willing to serve. There she is. Thank you very much. Come forward for your counting device and your color assignment. Aho. Resolution 54, in reference to the Kiowa Tribe Compliance Officer. Reaffirming the duties of the Kiowa Tribal Compliance Officer. Do you know what color? What color does she need to count? We're assigning our counters to a color. Ready? Yes, you can. Yes, and the counters can vote. Counters will be able to vote. No, not yet. Not yet. You ready? If our counters ready? Ready? All those in favor of resolution 5-4, raise your hand. There you go. And then the counters, once you're through counting, if you'll come up and give us your total. Yes, that'd be great. All those opposed to resolution 5-4, raise your hand. Raise your right hand. Counters? We're going to do it. Ready? All those abstaining? Counters? The resolution passed. 134 yes, 2 no, 2 abstain. Resolution it doesn't have to come to 150. No. Out of order. Resolution KICCY 0055. Kiowa Indian Council Constitutional Amendment of the Bill of Rights, Article 1, Section 1. You want to put that up? Whereas the government of the tribe shall not make or enforce any law which infringes upon religious or cultural beliefs or prohibits the free exercise thereof, including the right to process and use peyote for religious purposes, nor establishes religion. B, prohibits the freedom of speech, expression, or the press, or the right of the people peaceable to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kiowa Indian Council hereby, the government of the tribe shall not make or enforce any law which A, infringes upon religious or cultural beliefs or prohibits the free exercise thereof, including the right to possess and use peyote for religious purposes, as well as natural herbal medicines, to specifically include all forms of naturally grown marijuana, to include marijuana-derived edibles for their health and well-being, and the choice of any and all types of medical treatment shall remain that of the individuals themselves, nor establishes religion. B, prohibits the freedom of speech, expression, or the press, or the right of the people peaceable to assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. This will allow tribal members to retain the ultimate power of authority over themselves when it comes to choosing how we choose to treat ourselves medically and spiritually. We must retain our native culture and the means we must allow all tribal members to possess, buy, sell, cultivate, manufacture, and use marijuana for personal, medical, and spiritual purposes. Native must not be stripped of their voice and powers over themselves or their own bodies, nor shall they be forced to ingest man-made killer substances that are only approved or disapproved by outside governments. No outside authority, government, or entity should dictate those inherent rights of any tribal member or the constitutional rights afforded under the Kiowa Tribal Constitution. Today's changes that are running rampant, not just across the United States, but around the world, banning marijuana prohibition and actually legalizing marijuana. The truth and positive benefits is making its way out and into the open. For more than 3,000 years, human around the world has used marijuana and its sister plants, peyote. This is Dawkey's gift, a 100% natural healing herb of as many different illnesses and diseases: cancer, heart disease, diabetes, blood pressure, and so many more. The white man's government has stripped all of this, I believe that should be God-given, natural healing herb, citing negative, only non-factual claims that are now today being found by factual science to be absolute lies. Oh, you're right. Is the presenter here? That would have saved me. Is the presenter here? Is the presenter here? I heard you have to do it 3 times. Say no 3 times if you must. Debbie, the chair recognizes Miss Wilson. Mike, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion in order to protect the integrity of Steve Hopkins' right to present a resolution to the KIC meeting, and also to protect the integrity of the resolution if there were any changes, possible changes that might be presented, he wouldn't be there to consent to it. I'm going to make a motion that not only we, since he is not here, that we table resolution 0055, 56, 57, 5859 0060. That we table those resolutions so that Mr. Hopkins may present them at the next KIC meeting, or they might be reconsidered.
Resolutions 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, and 60. A motion has been made by Ms. Wilson to table these resolutions. We have someone second it. Could you take a microphone? Say your name, where you're from. Donna Davila from Anadarko, Oklahoma. Donna Davila. You have it, Madam Secretary? We got it. Okay, counters, get ready. All those in favor of this motion to table the resolutions mentioned, raise your right hand. Counters. Raise your thing. Yours is too.
Tabled it. That's like, we gotta wait till next. In the mountains in Salmon Creek. Yeah.
Sir, can you give me
Pounds.
all those opposed? All those opposed to the tabling of these resolutions? All those abstaining? All those abstaining? Hold them up. The motion to table, 124 for, 3 against, and 7 abstention. The motion carries. Is the author of Resolution 0061 present? You are. Good. Resolution KIC CY 0061. Kiowa Indian Council Constitutional Amendment, Article 4, Section 4A, District 1 through 6, Section 5A, District 7, Qualifications, Legislative Branch. Whereas the legislative branch of the Kiowa tribal government shall have 5 to 8 years work experience or associate's, bachelor, master's, doctorate degree in the areas of accounting, finance, human resources, business administration, management, grants management, medical, education, tribal government, museum, social services, child welfare, gaming industry, and any other departments of the Kiowa tribe is involved. To ensure budget, grants, programs are monitored for internal controls, audits completed in a timely manner, working with the directors, supervisors to provide advanced understanding, complying with, and meeting deadlines. Whereas background checks be conducted, failure to comply candidate would not be considered. Whereas must be a registered voter. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kiowa Indian Council hereby, the legislative branch of the Kiowa tribe, shall have 5 to 8 years work experience or advanced degree in areas of accounting, finance, human resources, business administration, management, grants management, medical, education, tribal government, museum, social services, child welfare, gaming industry, and any other departments the Kiowa tribe is involved. To assure budgets, grants, programs are monitored for internal controls, audits completed in timely manner, working with directors, supervisors to provide advance understanding, complying, and meeting deadlines. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be the amendment of the Kiowa tribe until it is withdrawn or modified by subsequent future attended resolution. Questions? She's here. Could you come to the mic? There you go.
I make a motion to accept. My name's Amanda Amatijo from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Can you call the question?
The question is...
No. I'm saying, do you call the question to go ahead and
Yes.
suspend discussion
Yes,
and call
I
for the
call the
vote?
question
Okay,
to
now
suspend.
make your motion again. Tell us your name.
I make the motion to pass.
Tell us your name.
Amanda Joe from Salt Lake City, Utah. And I put a motion to pass 0061.
To approve the
To
resolution?
approve.
Is there a second? Oh. All right. I call for questions.
And I raised my hand.
I didn't see your hand, so we have a discussion.
Okay, so
The chair recognizes Ms. Sunray.
okay, my name is Randy Sunray, and I'm from Norman, Oklahoma, and I just feel as if being so specific on those degrees could limit potential applicants, because even whenever I look at the degrees, my own degree is not listed, but yet I still feel that if I were to want to become a legislator, that I do have the 5 to 8 years of experience, but my degree does not fit in those specific categories. So I just feel as if I think having a degree is important, but we also should be considerate of those qualified applicants who do not have a degree. So for example, my bachelor's degree is in exercise sports sciences, and I have a master's degree in public health. So I just wanted clarification on, so specific on the degrees.
Okay, the chair is going to backtrack. Is there a second on this motion? Is there a second? Could we have a microphone to this young lady, a name and where you're from?
Elizabeth Tarta, Mountain View, Oklahoma. I second this motion.
Okay, now, motion has been made and seconded. Is there discussion? The chair recognizes Mr. Smith.
Hold on a second, Smith. Can I make an announcement? During this time, please do not come to the KIC table. I am unable to vote. These past few votes, I was unable to because there were too many people at the KIC table. Okay, let's just wait until we have a break or something.
She wants to vote, so leave her alone.
Oh.
Chair recognizes Mr. Smith for 3 minutes.
As Mrs. Sunray said, there's a lot in there, you know, so I wasn't exactly clear on if it was saying either or, you know, bachelor's degree or experience, but I will say I've been involved for a while now, and when you put education, you know, I will tell everybody, to run for president of the United States, you don't need a college degree. To be appointed as a Supreme Court Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, it doesn't require a college degree. Of course, nowadays they probably will have it, but it doesn't say it in the Constitution. Right now there's only about 12,000 of us. That's a small pool of talent, of potential people that would want to ask their people to put them in a representative position. But putting educational requirements doesn't guarantee any success. There's been a lot of degrees in government for a long time, and a lot of those degreed people didn't seem to have a lot of knowledge of governmental operations and things that we want. So it's really up to the voters, the people, to look at. I mean, it's elitist. I feel it's elitist in such a small group as our tribe is. The pool of potential leaders, representatives, small enough as it is, when you put educational requirements, nowadays an education is quite a financial burden. And we may have people in our communities that have been involved in the community, know the people in the community, know Kiowa ways, and they may have learned governmental ways and processes on their own. So an education is always good, but I would just like to remind everybody that it's no guarantee that diploma, that the person is going to govern well. And if you shut the door on people without a diploma, all you're doing is reducing the pool of people we have to choose from. So I speak against this resolution.
Okay, chair recognizes Ms. Jones.
Okay, from what I've read on this resolution, constitutional amendment, they're not saying we want uneducated people. They're not saying we want educated people. It's saying have either or. Have 5 to 8 years, 10 years, whatever experience in these health fields. Same with her degree in health. She falls under the degreed people. And if she has, background in health, then, yeah, she would be able to discuss, health issues. And, when you say health issues, whatever the needs are of the Kiowa people, there would be somebody in there understanding what's happening. If somebody came with background 5 to 10 years, in HR, they would understand any of these questions that come through in HR. Same with your legal side. Same with your finance. Somebody could have a background in finance that worked in finance for 5, 10, 12 years, but didn't get the degree. They just worked in the area. So that's giving the experience, the eye to look at what's needing to be looked at. That's my understanding. But I suggest too eventually that if we need to revisit this, it should be reworded, I guess is what we're hearing. So I am for this resolution.
The chair recognizes Ms. Wilson. Wait a minute. Wait for the mic. Tell us your name, where you're from. Please raise your hand if you want to speak to this resolution.
My name's Deborah Wilson. I'm from Cash, America. On this, I agree with those, the other two people about the requirements of this degree. It's been very difficult, even for the Kiowa tribe, to hire people with these kinds of requirements, even to work for our tribe. This is an elected position. It's not one that you apply for. So those restrictions are they're too severe, too strict, and you're not going to find anybody that's going to be able to serve in there. They're working in the secular world. You know, they're working in good government jobs or whatever, and you're not going to find the people that you need. The education in those specific areas is not necessary to be a legislator. You've got to be able to serve the Kiowa people. That is the #1 requirement. And I'm an educator, I'm a teacher, I believe in education, but to serve as an elected official, you need to be willing to serve your people. That's the biggest requirement that I think is necessary for a legislator. And I speak against it.
Raise your hand. Any other discussion? In the back.
I just wanted to comment on...
Tell us your name and where you're from.
Catherine Ware Perosi from Square Top, Oklahoma, from Anadarko.
Is there such a place?
Okay. I was looking at the body where it says, whereas the legislative branch of the Kiowa tribal government shall have 5 to 8 years work experience. I would like to see added on that and/or equivalent to these degrees.
Are you requesting an amendment?
Yes. I mean, I would vote for it if it had an amendment and/or, but otherwise I'd reject this.
Are you requesting an amendment?
I would like to request an amendment to this resolution.
Does the author accept that amendment? She does accept the amendment. The chair recognizes the gentleman. Raise your hand up so I can see you. If you want to raise your hand up.
Jared Tartza, Hog Creek.
Oh, the chair recognizes Mr. Tartza.
Hi, yes. Along with that amendment right there for the and/or, kind of piggybacking off of Deborah, I have an aunt that's worked for the government for the BIA since she was 18 years old, and she holds no degree, and she's an OST officer, and she has a very good salary. So she doesn't have a degree, but she has the experience. So along the lines of her having her duties there, the OST and the BIA, she developed her expertise in those fields. And I think individuals that have that expertise should be able to fit this position for the legislator or any positions in the tribe and not be withheld just by these discrepancies of a piece of paper, because we all know that work experience goes a lot further than education.
You speak for or against?
I speak against it at this moment.
Thank you. Chair recognizes a young woman in the back. State your name and where you're from.
My name is Sharon Payne. I'm from Carnegie. I am opposed to this resolution due to the fact that I believe it discriminates against our Kiowa people. And who's to say that if we get our legislature branch going, that someone will file a civil suit against the tribe? And that's how I am looking at this resolution, because I feel like it's discriminatory to our people, and somebody can come forward and file a civil lawsuit against the tribe because it's discriminating. So I am opposed.
Thank you. Hand in back. Okay.
My name is Mary Helen Deere from Oklahoma City, District 7, and it already says or. It says 5 to 8 years of experience at least, or a degree. So all this other, it's already in here, or. It doesn't have and or, but it has or, so it's covered.
Thank you, Ms. Steer. Chair recognizes.
My name is Martha Kumsa Perez from here, from God's country, Kiowa country, Carnegie, Oklahoma. I would like to state an opposement of this resolution that has been presented, because we would take our memories back to the past years of our tribal government. Those of you who are from the grassroots level know that we had a tribal chairman that ran for 7 terms that did not have a college education. And he led us into this greatness that we did have upon one time, and we need to keep it that way. All you have to have is common sense and know your traditional ways of the Kiowas, and they will support you 100%. Thank you. I oppose this resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Kumsa. Discussion? You've already been recognized. Discussion right here in front.
Just to point out, I'm Karen Onko from Norman. It is only for the legislative branch. Am I correct? Not the executive or any other branches, just the legislative. Is that correct? Yes.
The author?
That is it?
That's correct.
Okay, so that wouldn't even apply to our executive, our leaders, our people who run the tribe. Oh, the Constitution has it in it. Okay.
Discussion? Question? Question's been called. Counters? Ready. All those in favor of resolution 6-1, raise your hand. The hand with the band. All in favor, raise the hand with the band. All those opposed? All those abstaining? Keep them up. The count for resolution 61, Those in favor, 20. Those opposed, 109. Those abstaining, 10. The motion fails, or the resolution fails. Resolution 620062 is the author here. Who is it? Are you here? Okay. The subject, strategically plan and establish Kiowa tribal enterprises. Whereas, strategically plan and establish the Kiowa tribal enterprise to strengthen the Kiowa tribe's economic development, diversifying the tribe financially by franchising businesses found in the food industry, commercial janitorial services, convenience stores, funeral home services, special events, sports events, and tourism. Whereas by establishing the Kiowa tribal enterprise would take the financial burden off the casinos, provide jobs for Kiowa tribal members, and expand the Kiowa tribe financially. Whereas the Kiowa tribal enterprise would be standalone of the Kiowa tribe, being a fully incorporated business. Whereas establishing the Kiowa tribal enterprise effective date would be immediate after approval of this resolution. Now therefore be it resolved that the Kiowa Indian Council hereby strategically plan and establish the Kiowa tribal enterprise. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be the policy of the Kiowa tribe until it is withdrawn or modified by subsequent resolution. Is there a motion? In the back. Name, where you from?
Mary Helen Deere, Oklahoma City, and I move that we approve.
Mary Helen Deere. We're saying this for our secretary to write your names down. So please wait for the mic, Mary Helen. Second.
Mary Helen Deere, Oklahoma City, I approve.
There you go. Mike?
Linda Yellowhair, second.
Got it? Okay. Question, discussion. Chair recognizes the young man. Tell us your name, where you're from.
Silas Lambert from Anadarko, Oklahoma. And I'm just curious, would this give like an individual the capabilities to start a business through the Kiowa tribe and be able to flourish in that sense? Or would it be 100% responsibility of the tribe handling it? Even though I know that's a timely process, so I'm kind of confused if it's Kiowa enterprises through the Kiowa tribe or allowing individual tribal members to start up businesses through the Kiowa tribe.
Okay. This is to establish an enterprise. Mary Helen helped me with this definition one time. It's a profit company making money for a nonprofit company. Okay? The Kiowa Enterprises would be a standalone company making money, okay? Just like the casinos we were talking about a while ago. The casinos have been assisting the tribe with their tribal programs, tribal funding, in order for them, to continue. This enterprise, like Cherokee Nation Enterprises, Choctaw Nation Enterprises, Chickasaw Nation Enterprises, Chickasaw Nation, you see everything that they own in Oklahoma City. They own the ball field, they own the, they're getting ready to make the American Indian Cultural Center that started out at the state level, and now they're buying it. Bricktown Ballpark, they bought the Sportsman's Club that I used to go to way back in the day up there at 39th Expressway. They bought that, mowed it down, built it back up. It's, the resort and everything. There was a golf course, everything. That's their elder center, okay? That's what the enterprise will do for the tribe. The money that the enterprise would make through the businesses, that would provide jobs for Kiowa people as well, like I had mentioned, and these are just ideas. These are not like, let's do it immediately. If we went into like commercial housekeeping, okay, we could get this bank up here. We could get this, clinic up here. We could hire our Kiowa people to go in and provide jobs for them through that. Same with the convenience stores. We can provide jobs for the convenience stores. You see them all over the place. Apache's up here on the Y and all this stuff. They lit up that corner. This is what if you listen to this closely, it's strategically planned. Okay? Get us a plan of action, lay it out, get a process going, what we want to do, get the licenses, certifications, whatever. This would be an actual business that would be state, taxed, everything. In that regard, that state taxing and all this stuff, federal taxes, things like this, it would be actual a business that would have its own board and everything. Then they could do the write-off, and that write-off is going to come to the tribe. Then the tribe can turn around, make a new complex, make that new elder center, make the new, the internal functioning of the tribe is what the enterprise. So if you look at the bigger tribes out there, like I said, Chickasaws, Choctaws, Cherokees, Creek Nation, they brought our people in a bus. That's what that could produce for the Kiowa tribe. Okay.
Chair recognizes Legislator Waters.
I'm a little bit unclear.
Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Modena Waters. I'm I'm a KIC member.
And where are you from?
I'm a little puzzled.
From where?
Unclear. I am from Ponca City, Oklahoma. Okay. I'm a little unclear because I'm thinking, why do we need approval with this resolution through the Kiowa tribe, the KIC? Why do we need that? Can these groups who are interested in developing these types of enterprises go ahead and do it? Or are you expecting capital, startup funds from the tribe, which we don't presently have? So it's a good idea, but I'm not really clear why this has to be presented through the KIC or the tribe itself. I mean, what does the tribe have to put up? Its name? Or what exactly do you require from the tribe?
Okay, again, this is strategically planning, okay? Strategically plan means go out there and set your perimeters, your plan of action, how you want to do it, where you want to put it, feasibility studies, go out there and say, hey, it's going to work over here, work over there. Startup costs, that's where you could go and look for your funding, okay? And I have contacts with different financial advisors across the country and things like that. I'd be willing to share. If this passes, okay, there are people out there that want to give money. There's actual grants out there. There's actual things that we could even ask for. We would not have to pay back, okay? But we got to have a plan in place, business plan in place that will fly, that all of our feasibility studies, everything, if we built it here in Carnegie, is it going to fly? It may work better over in Lawton. It may work better closer to Oklahoma City. That's what we got to find out. It's the planning stage of getting an enterprise set up in order for it to fly, because it doesn't need to say we're going to do this and then it fails in a couple of years. We need to keep pushing it forward, and that's where the strategically plan, the business plan for this, in order to take it to these individual advisors, the financial people that we know, and say, hey, here's our business plan, and they say, yeah, it's good, here's your money. And like I said, I've got contacts that we could make this happen. We just need it. I just need to know if this is what the people would like. Okay? Hopefully that answers your question, Modena, because I'm looking for a plan, okay?
Chair recognizes gentleman.
My name is Spencer Onco, and I'm from Norman. And my question is that, like Modena, I don't quite understand. Are you wanting the tribe to go out and do a plan and find a business and run it to benefit the members, or are you wanting an individual to do that? And if an individual goes out and finds a business that they want to get into, how does that affect the tribe, and how much does the tribe have to pay a certain amount, or what? I don't understand that.
This is totally separate from the tribe. The enterprises at the Cherokee, the bigger tribes, they're separate companies. But the tribe itself benefits from the money.
Okay.
That they are a profit company that would make the money, and then they would give the money to the tribe, the write-offs or your, whatever they give. Like the casino gives a certain amount to the tribe. This is basically the same concept, but only it's an enterprise where there would be different businesses within that enterprise.
So that.
Yeah, contractual agreements, things like that.
Help from the advice from the tribe to start the business. You're saying for the different programs.
Yeah, you would want to get, I guess I should put in there, maybe amend it or something, form a committee or something, because a business plan needs to be looked at and gone. I mean, you have to look at the places you want to put it and how much it's going to cost and what you want to put into it and how you're going to staff it. And this would actually be an enterprise that would have its own board of directors. It would have its own president. It would have its own HR, accounting department. This would not touch the tribe at all. It is its standalone company.
So if I wanted to start a store, a convenience store, I'd go out there and start it, but if I needed advice on how to start it, I would ask the tribe, and I would put up the money for my own business, and then how would.
I don't know if that's the same thing.
Or
but
if I want to start
if I
wanted to start a company, janitorial company, and hire some Kiowas, I would ask the Kiowas for help, not money, but help on advice on different programs, so I can start my business. Is that correct?
That's going through the tribe.
Okay.
I'm saying this is a business that we would start. It would be a taxable company. There would be taxes paid, whereas the tribe doesn't pay taxes on properties and things like that. But right now, it would be an enterprise. And probably what needs to happen too is that maybe we go visit some places to look and see how they got started and their business plans. Business plans are very specific on what you would like to have and see, and then when you take that business plan to your financing, whoever's going to finance it, whether we stay, in-state, out-of-state, wherever we find our financing, that's what we have to explain to them, how this business is going to launch and take off and how we're going to conduct our business. Okay. Yeah.
Chair recognizes the gentleman in the back, not Mr. Smith.
Jared Tarza from Anadarko. Ms. Jones, I am in support of this. The tribe could have done this multiple different ways with the legislative branch. They could have taken this upon themselves. However, the KIC is trying to go ahead and implement this process so that we can start by building up our foundation for business-wise, making more revenue for ourselves. But we're doing it in a business fashion where they would receive their own tax identification number. And I think people are asking questions on how they can piggyback in off this with the tribe. This isn't for individuals to piggyback in off of. This is for the tribe itself to develop its own businesses. If it's going to be manufacturing, if it's going to be whatever it may be, this is what that's going to stand to help us do. And if an individual wanted to start their own business, they would just do the same process, enterprises. It's the same foundation that all businesses are relied upon. I'm in support of this.
You speak for it. Chair recognizes Mr. Smith. Name and where you're from.
Steve Smith from District 4, live out there by Mount Scott. I just want to talk about the process real quick because this is a good illustration about our powers as a Kiowa Indian Council. We really have 3 powers. We can start the process to amend the Constitution, we can approve contracts, and we can set policy. And this really fits under our policy. It may be, I think, maybe a little too specific.
Microphone.
Maybe too specific for policy. Is this going out? But that what I wanted to say is that we have to realize as we do this policy isn't an overnight process. What we have to do here as a Kiowa Indian Council is we really maybe not get this specific, but we're making a policy saying we would like the tribe to explore the opportunities, economic opportunities, in developing a separate business arm. And then we have to give our government time, maybe up to a year till next April, for them to come back to us and say, all right, you made the policy, we've done the studies and the research, now here's some options for you, the KIC, to consider. So I just kind of wanted to talk about, and an illustration of what Marcia's talking about. You know that they have the casino at Remington Park. I believe that's Cherokees?
Chickasaws.
Chickasaws, all right? That is not an Indian casino. That has nothing to do with NIGC. It's totally separate from all the other Chickasaw casinos. If non-Indian, if white people had bought Remington Park instead of the Chickasaws, they would still have those games there. So that's an example of something that's totally outside the tribe.
And the reason is it's not on trust land.
Yeah, it's not on trust land.
That's the
so
reason.
so what Marcia, I think, is trying to do is we kind of focus on our trust lands and our tribal properties, and a business arm like this would be able to go out into the business world and operate on the same playing field as all the non-Indians, but there's a lot of, and we'd have more flexibility to do things, but this is the kind of thing where if we do this, then I don't know, we can say you establish it this way. I see policy more as, for example, last year with the Elder Center, we just kind of said, build another Elder Center. Didn't really exactly say, that's not how you set policy. We should set policy by saying, we, the Kiowa Indian Council, would like to see the elder services and programs expanded and provided to other areas of our Kiowa communities. Then we have to give the government time to go out there and research all of that, come back to us with options. Here's option A, option B, option C. Then we can vote on it. So I just want to remind everybody, when we set policy, it's not something that happens overnight. We get it started, then we have to give our government time to do their homework, come back to us.
Do you speak for or against?
I guess I'm speaking for, although I'll speak for this.
For. The
Point
chair
of order.
recognizes Ms. Wilson with a point of order.
I have a question, since she has said that the tribe is not involved and it's not a tribal project. If we have jurisdiction to vote on something like that with a resolution, it's not resolution worthy, but it can, in the agenda, under other discussion, if you want a vote of the support of the Kiowa people, you can make a motion and we can give you support. But if it's not tribal, anything tribal, no tribal money involved or tribal personnel, then it's not worthy of a resolution.
Hold on, but I'll get to you, Mr. Keatai. Hold on.
Alvin Deer, District 7, Oklahoma City. I think what is kind of confusing this is when it says to be a standalone. But my understanding is that, and I heard Steve say something like an arm of the tribe, and I think the intent is more that it is an arm of the tribe, that you form an LLC that is it is associated to the tribe, because LLCs, their funds can go back to the sponsoring corporation, in which case this would be the Kiowa tribe, so that any money that the LLC revenue that they made comes back to the tribe. Similar, it's a non-casino casino in that it's an enterprise that's going to develop jobs and et cetera, but it'd be a diversified, looking at different types of enterprises that would be profitable, but also would provide income for our people. One of the examples was a travel plaza. Years ago, I thought we should have bought a travel plaza up there in Hinton, right on I-40. This is when I worked for the Cheyennes in the 1990s. I said that was former trust land, and we had that, and now there is a travel plaza there. But it's not, I think in the beginning it was sounding like it was going to be an enterprise that would fund individuals to have their own business. This is forming different LLCs that would be profitable, and the income comes to the tribe for other type of development. That's my understanding.
Chair recognizes Mr. Kita. Tell us your name and where you're from.
My name is Frank Kita. I'm from Norman. I make a motion that we table this issue until more research is done and you can iron out the kinks in this and explain it better to all our members to how this is going to work.
You accept it? Is there a second?
I second. Margaret Dorsey, Tulsa, Glenpool, Oklahoma, District 7.
Okay, motion has been made to table this resolution and seconded. Discussion. Yes.
Okay, the way I'm understanding
Your
this,
name and where you're from?
Oh, Alinda Yego Yellowhair from Shangri-La, Carnegie, Oklahoma.
That's debatable.
Huh? What?
That's debatable.
Okay. That's where you from too, isn't it?
I didn't say you were Shangri-La.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, the way I'm understanding this is that when you get a business, that it will go under the Kiowa tribe, which the Kiowa tribe is supposed to have a federal ID number and a state number to file your taxes. Do they have one? The tribe? Do they have one? A federal ID number and a state ID number. So that what I'm understanding, when you get your own business, you go under the tribe and use their number to get your own business.
Okay.
Because when you get your own number and your IDs, federal and state, you're on your own. You don't have to be under the tribe.
Federal and state, excuse me, Alvin Deer, District 7, Oklahoma City. And the question was that would they go under the tribal federal ID number and state ID, or would they get their own? And if they get their own, they're totally on their own. An LLC is required to get a federal and state ID number, but they are subordinate to the, in our case, to the Kiowa tribe.
Subordinate, all right.
Okay, we think we're out of order. We're going to vote on the motion to table. No. Counters, come forward. All those in favor of tabling resolution 6-2, raise your hand with your band. Right or left? Some of it's on the left, some on the right. Raise your hand. The motion to table this resolution. I vote. I vote. All those against tabling this motion? It's against.
Robert Tohey. He's
Turquoise? All those abstaining? Raise them high. Abstaining? Okay, you got the vote. On the motion to table Resolution 62, those for, 93, those against, 23, those abstaining, 4. The motion is tabled. The resolution is tabled. Moving to Resolution KIC CY 0063. The subject is to establish shipping and receiving points at the Kiowa Tribe Complex and provide delivery of goods to all tribal departments to maintain internal and inventory controls. Whereas, okay. What do you want to do?
I'll pull it.
Okay. I heard.
This is all that it's going to change. That's it.
Okay. Tell me that 3 times. It's not in the papers.
Is it in the paper?
No.
Okay.
Okay, what do you want to do?
Okay. All right, let me tell them. This is mine anyway. Okay. This is why it's not in there. I was asked originally to pull this whenever we all started at the beginning, back in April, that it was like, pull this because we already have it done, because there is a point of access for the procurement office and the shipping and receiving for the tribe. But then I was called later and said, no, leave it in there, but just change the wording. Where it says dock at the top, it just says a receiving point. And so it's already done. That's already done, but I was asked to leave it in so that it would be more official, I guess. But that's why it's not in your packet, because I was asked, yeah, so we don't have to vote on this. But it already does exist.
Moving on. Resolution KIC CY 0064. Subject: reduction of blood quantum membership requirement to 1/8 descendants. Whereas Kiowa Tribe members support reducing blood quantum membership requirements to 1/8. Is the presenter here? Is the author here? Marcella Aguilar, are you present? Marcella Aguilar, are you present? Marcella Aguilar, are you present? This resolution is hereby pulled. Moving on, resolution number KIC CY 0065. Subject, budget reviews and modifications approved by legislature increase or decrease by only 10%. Okay.
I'm going to withdraw this one because I was shown through the finance office that this is already in existence in their policies. Okay? We're done.
Chair recognizes the young lady.
Jerry Yoakum from Norman, Oklahoma. This is my first time, so I'm a little new to the proceedings. And earlier when a resolution was tabled or not voted on because the author wasn't here, it was motioned. And the one you just tabled regarding blood quantum was tabled and there was no motion. And it's my feeling, and I don't know all the proceedings, so you can educate me because I'm willing to be. There are a lot of us here that's important to, and a lot of us came a long way for that. And just because the author's not here, I'm assuming that the author wrote a good explanation of what they wanted and what for us to understand and vote on whether they were here or not.
It doesn't matter.
So they have to be here
They
to vote
must
on
be
it?
present. Yes.
Can I answer a question?
The chair recognizes Mr. Smith.
First of all, thank you for coming first time. I hope it's not your last time. Welcome. But if the author had been here, I was going to make a motion or ask if she might be willing to withdraw it because there has already been, basically, I drafted a resolution lowering the blood quantum to 1/8. That was approved in April, and it is going on the ballot.
This is a duplicate resolution.
So what you just said about, this is an important issue, I just wanted to let you know that there is a previous resolution basically doing the same thing that will be on the upcoming ballot. There will be a question to lower to 1/8.
Is it germane? Does
I'm
that
sorry?
not explain it, that there is? Your concern has been met with the previous resolution that was approved in April the 6th.
Okay, well, thank you for dismissing me.
Question? No. Is it germane? Go ahead.
It's my understanding that this was also approved quite some time ago before we had other issues within
right.
the
And
tribe.
you're talking about the previous KIC meeting years ago.
Yes, sir.
That,
And then,
that was held up because of the Constitution revision.
okay, and so I'm interested in this as well as a lot of things here, and I'm wanting to be involved.
Good. Good.
So that should be kept in mind.
Sure, and we agree. Chair recognizes Ms. Wilson.
Just to help you to understand, when Mr. Zotai was elected chair of this meeting, he has the option to table that or to not receive that resolution. If he feels that that has already been addressed, or if he feels like it's unconstitutional, he has the right, because he's chair of the meeting and he sets the agenda, so he has the right to do that according to Robert's Rules of Order.
If we don't know that?
Yeah, I know.
You're right. You're
Yeah.
right. And Chair apologizes if
Yeah.
he's created the sense of non-acceptance toward you.
Mhm.
I'm thankful, like Steve said, that you're here to be a part of the process, and I appreciate that and value that. My point was that it's been done with that other resolution. It's going to
Also-
be addressed ultimately.
Also, I want to clarify for you too that all the any amendments to the Constitution is supposed to have a special meeting to address those amendments.
Again, the chair apologizes to the gentleman. There's a hand in the back.
It's already been done. It's already been done.
Mr. Chairman, I want to commend all the KIC members for being here today
taking your time to express your views to your tribal government's improvement. May God bless you and your homes. And with that, I ask that this KIC meeting be adjourned.
Sharon Pena from Carnegie, Oklahoma, I second.
Point of order. Before we accept the motion to adjourn, there is a question about a vote on a special meeting to approve the resolutions that would amend the Constitution. So I've been informed that we need to vote to call for a special meeting. Is that right? Okay, the chair will accept a motion. Mike? I saw Mary Helen first. Mary Helen? Chair recognizes Mary Helen Deere.
Thank you. My name is Mary Helen Deere. I'm from Oklahoma City, and I so move to request from the legislature to call or is it the legislature? To call for a special election.
Special meeting. A special meeting.
Oh, no. We've already had the meeting. We've already voted on these. We just need a special election.
What do you think?
For the constitutional amendments.
Alvin, what about?
We've already read and discussed and voted on the constitutional amendments. We now need a special election.
The Constitution requires the legislature to call for a special meeting, according to my counsel. Mike in the back. Chair recognizes Speaker Bredd.
We have already decided that we will have a special election coming from this conclusion of this meeting. We will call that after this meeting concludes and after we receive the official ballots, questions from the election board and the KIC coordinator. This is just a continuation of your annual meeting so that that election will follow this action. Once we get those approved resolutions signed by the chairman and the secretary of the KIC and endorsed by the KIC coordinator, we will send those forth to the KEC, the election board, to conduct business, and they will be on your ballot.
Yeah, that's right. Speaker Bredd, the process is that there would be a regular election as the result of this meeting. It's not a special election. It's a regular election. So, and that's already going to happen. And that's up to the KEC to set that up and to establish that. As a result, we'll vote on these resolutions by the body. The Constitution requires a special meeting to consider the amendments that are being requested. Chair recognizes Mr. Smith.
I'll just reiterate what we discussed on April 6th. The Constitution absolutely does not require a special meeting for amendments. Look in Section 13 amendments, look in Article 13 amendments, Article 5 Kiowa Indian Council. The term is special election. The words special meeting do not appear anywhere once in relation to amendments in the KIC in the Constitution. That is a false notion. What it does require is a special election. That's why the three what we're doing here at the KIC, we're not amending anything. We're just starting the process.
Right.
And when the amendments do go to the ballot for a KIC, it requires a special election. All three of my proposed amendments, at the end of it, it says, now the Kiowa Indian Council hereby calls for a special election and notifies our office coordinator to notify the election commission. It doesn't require, and there's two ways to have a special meeting. Either 5 of the 7 legislatures can call a special KIC meeting, or any one of us could go get 450 signatures. But a special meeting is not required for us to start the amendment process.
You want to look?
Special election is, not special meeting.
A meeting is needed. Hold on.
Here's it's Article 14, I'm sorry, amendments. The council may initiate the process to amend the Constitution by voting to take such action at a valid council meeting, that's this right here, where the matter has been properly placed on the agenda. All of the resolutions that are on this agenda made the 45-day deadline before April 6th. They've been properly placed on the agenda. And I'm not even going to read that legislature part because that's their part. You know. The election commission shall call and hold a special election to amend the Constitution within 90 days of, but the word special meeting doesn't appear in there anywhere.
It says
A valid council meeting. Doesn't say a valid special council meeting.
No.
It says a valid council meeting. Our annual meeting is a valid council meeting. And look in Article 5, Kiowa Indian Council, where we talk about how we submit these resolutions to the tribe.
Okay, so who determines which
That's a whole other thing, but, okay, so the coordinator of the office of the council shall accept proposed resolutions which are submitted at least 45 days before a meeting, and all resolutions shall be placed on the agenda of the special meeting called to consider such a resolution, or upon the agenda of the next annual meeting. So there is a process by where if somebody wanted to call a special meeting to do one amendment in another time of the year other than April, you could do it that way. But at our regular April meeting, which is a continuation of, we can start the process to do amendments. It does not take a special meeting. But once again, one last thing. This is one of the things we could argue and discuss it all day. Everybody in here could believe my point. Everybody here could believe the other point. What somebody other side says, what I say doesn't matter. In disputes like this, we're supposed to have a court.
The court, that's right. Okay, we're in a quandary because what we've done, we've concluded consideration of all the resolutions. We have a body of 20-something resolutions that will be prepared and presented by the Election Commission along with the tribal budget, the annual tribal budget. And we will vote on that next. We also have to have a special election for those that rise to the status of amendments to the Constitution. Now, who decides those amendments and whether or not they rise to that level, the resolutions, is up in the air. According to our minutes, it's reflected that a special meeting is needed to consider which one of those resolutions we've just passed are amendments to be put forward at a special election. So that's our quandary. And we will need legal counsel to help determine the proper protocol for proceeding. We do know that we have concluded the KIC meeting, the resolutions that were presented, validly presented. The chair recognizes Ms. Wilson. Microphone. Hold on. Hold on.
I think the people who were at the last KIC meeting, we had, about 6 different amendments in regard to changing the descendancy or lowering the blood quantum. So at that time, we said that we could call a special meeting. A special meeting, Mr. Smith, a special meeting. And everybody was in agreement because nobody could agree on which one we wanted. We couldn't put all the resolutions on there because there needed to be more discussion about it. So we decided we were going to have a special meeting. Okay, now, according to our agenda, we concluded the resolution, and since the chair has elected not to adjourn right now, the other item on that agenda is other business. And what we can do is make a motion that the legislators will call a special meeting to entertain all those resolutions that are going to modify the descendancy requirements. And we can call a special, they can call a special KIC meeting to discuss it, and we can just talk about it because everybody agreed the wording is not right on any of the resolutions. They were all horrible because it was not in line with the Constitution. So that's, those of you who weren't here probably don't have that prior knowledge. But that's what we agreed on, and if we just go ahead and say, well, put it on the ballot, we have already defied what the KIC meeting has already voted on.
Where's the mics?
And so that's what I wanted to bring up. And the other thing, before we close, I have a motion that I promised Ms. Britt that we would make before we close.
Could you repeat that? I was directing a mic to Mary Helen. That last statement you made.
About what to do?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. At the prior KIC meeting business, we had several amendments about descendancy. Some said 1/8. One said, well, it should just be descendancy. Some had the same exact resolution, worded different. And so we said, well, what should we do? And then we decided, we said, well, let's have a special meeting. We can call a special meeting and talk about it because everybody said, well, it's not worded right. They're not worded right. And then the last KIC meeting we had there was one more that was presented. And now we have all these resolutions. The wording is all different on all the resolutions. So we decided to ask the legislature to call a special meeting so we can decide how those resolutions should be worded and which one is the best, descendancy or putting a certain blood quantum on there. So that's what we decided. And then Lucinda and Karen and I presented that last resolution about descendancy. But see, all of those others as well were presented. So we thought it would be best to have a special meeting to talk about all of those different options we'd have and make sure that the resolution was worded properly. Yes, you can do that according to Robert's Rules of Order if you say a resolution to follow.
Okay.
So that's my concern. Are we going to change everything now, do it now, vote on it, then change it again, then change it again? We need to be consistent.
Chair recognizes Mary Helen.
I would like to call attention once again to the policies and procedures that were approved in July. On page 5, it says that because a lot of people were leaving this particular decision up to DeVetta, who does not have the authority to make those decisions. And we put in that the KIC shall call for volunteers or nominate at least 7, one from each district, persons to become a resolutions committee to review all resolutions submitted for voting by the KIC for proper wording, adherence to the Constitution requirements, and within the powers of the KIC. And I would like to submit this at this time for consideration that this is probably the opportune time to do that. Thank you.
Karen Onko?
Yeah.
Chair recognizes Karen.
Karen Onko from Norman. We did, my sister, I, and had submitted, plus Martha Perez had submitted. Hers was the 8th degree and ours was descendancy. If I remember right, at that meeting, you had told us it was illegal, but we went ahead and presented, and what we had agreed to, Martha had asked, could we combine them? Would you combine the 8th degree with your resolution? And I agreed, and my sister agreed, and she agreed. So we were supposed to rewrite the wording on that and resubmit it, but the election came out with them totally the way they had originally been written, and there were 2 of them on there. So we already had decided and agreed that we were going to do the descendancy and the 8th. It just needs to be reworded and resubmitted as far as the resolutions.
At a special
correct?
meeting.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I had
Right.
thought.
Chair recognizes Mr. Smith.
Just speaking on the process about what Miss Wilson was saying, and I think we do need to do some more amending on Article 5. We've got a real lack of flexibility in what we can discuss on the floor here, because I'm not sure if I agree that we could call for a special meeting now or make any new motions now. The Constitution says all actions of the Kiowa Indian Council must be on the agenda, and they must be accompanied by a resolution. And that's pretty confining language, but until we change it, that's what it says. So I don't even know if we can make new motions on the floor for anything that wasn't already on the agenda, according to the way that it says, no business shall be conducted by the Kiowa Indian Council unless it's accompanied by a resolution. And you have to have those resolutions turned in 45 days before the meeting. And that really kind of ties us up when we want to do something like what Debbie is talking about, because I don't know that we can. And then what my mother, Mary Helen, was talking about, we did do, that may be in the policies and procedures of the Kiowa Indian Council. However, that's also something else that needs to be changed in Article 5, because Article 5 says if you're a Kiowa Indian Council member, you turn in a resolution, the office coordinator has to accept it and put it on the agenda. Like Mom said, she has no authority to say, oh, that's not written wrong, that's unconstitutional. But even if we formed a committee of people that did know proper resolution, I mean, we need that in the future, but just having that in our policies and procedures doesn't override the Constitution. And so it doesn't really have any stand. What that committee suggested, you know, a committee could say that's written wrong, it's unconstitutional, but if a Kiowa Indian Council member says, I don't care, I want it to go on the agenda, then it goes on the agenda. So where we need to look at the language is there in the submission process of Article 5, and if we are going to put some sort of review committee to help people draft proper resolutions and weed out unconstitutional, repetitive resolutions, it has to go in the Constitution. Yeah. Putting it in our policies isn't enough.
It could go in. Chair recognizes Chairman Humanofsky.
Just to touch a little bit on what Steve was saying, he's correct as far as what the Constitution says, as far as resolutions and stuff. I raised that same gripe up when we first started this process. It's a new process, and you know, this meeting has lasted since April 6th. It's been a very long and drawn out and tiring experience for all of us. We need to learn from it. One of the motions, I think, was made by Modena Waters at the very beginning of the April 6th meeting that excluded people who weren't here. That was an illegal act because it was not on the agenda. It was not a proper resolution. If the KIC coordinator would put on there for open discussion prior to, or open something prior to the meeting, then it may carry some weight. But a lot of things, in my opinion, and again, it's the court of law who we really need to interpret a lot of this stuff, needs to interpret this for us and give us some guidance and some direction on how we need to be conducting ourselves, interpretation. But let's not get frustrated. Let's not point fingers at the Election Commission or the legislators or the KIC or the executive branch. Let's all learn together of this process, because if we all learn it together, we can go tell our brothers and our sisters and our sons and our daughters and our elders who aren't able to be here, this is how it's supposed to go, this is how it was done, and we've all learned from this process. I can tell you that as Election Commission Chairman, I've lost a lot of sleep over these past few weeks, and I wasn't looking forward to this meeting, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad you guys are all here. We are finally concluding a long, drawn-out process. If the special meeting takes place, I hope that the coordinator puts it far enough out where if you do have a resolution that's been presented and you want to correct it, then you have that time. You still have that 45-day window to do so, because that's exactly what that special meeting is going to be about. Constitutional amendments. Constitutional amendment is a very important part of not only our livelihood, for many, many generations to follow us. But I just wanted to say that. I also want to get off topic a little bit. The question was raised at the last meeting that didn't make quorum, but Daveda's term is a 2-year term. Unfortunately, that happened in December, and our next regularly scheduled meeting wouldn't be until April. Rather than having another special KIC meeting for that, I would make a suggestion that Daveda stay on board until at least the April meeting, to where we don't have to have that special meeting for another coordinator. That way we're staying on cycle moving forward, so we can just move forward from April. That's an additional 3 months that we're asking Daveda and the KIC to agree that we keep her on board. That's if she even wants it. But that's just a suggestion, and we will open up nominations. You can start filing for that 60 days out from our April KIC meeting. But I'm not sure. We'll have to go 45 days out from July 2nd. KIC is going to have to get us everything in order by July 2nd, 10 days after today, per the Constitution. So they got some work ahead of them, and and to just a quick note on Ms. Anko's comment. Again, we only put on the ballot what is given to us. Those two resolutions may have been combined, but they were presented to us as two separate resolutions. So that's why they were on the ballot like that. But hopefully we'll get it right this time. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Chairman Puinafkut. At this time, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn. But I would like to explain that Legislator Waters has said that her motion referred to the procedures, and it wasn't a resolution. Right, it wasn't a resolution. Okay, so a motion has been made by Ms. Bredd, and there was a second. We need your name. You got it? Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. We will convey the resolutions, once they've been certified, onto the Election Commission and initiate that process. And we will hope that a special election will be called moving forward to consider the constitutional amendments. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
We wanted to
All those opposed, motion carried.
oppose. 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 I said it right when you said motion for oppose. I said oppose.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
We got it on record, Ms. Pruitt.
Okay.
Are you going to draw? All right, we have a drawing. All right. Ticket number 915. We still got a lot of stuff to give away. 915. Hey, I better check my. Where's my ticket? Oh, it's over there. 915. 991. Going once. Going twice. 915. Oh, there is. Caitlin Soodle. Is there a Caitlin Soodle? All right.
Are they going to already?
Ticket number 991. Hey, I think that's mine. Yep. Yes, all right. I get to get something. I don't get paid, so that's my payment. I'm going to go get one of those pillows. Ticket number 919. Laura Hunting Horse. Laura Hunting Horse. 919. Okay, I'm going to go get my prize.
I'm gonna shake it up.
Yes.
I'll let you. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I wanted to mention that in the Constitution, we read about the legislators, that they were to call a special meeting of the council and to confirm or deny nominations made by the chairman, but this was for them to pass any type of budget or modifications. They were to call for a special meeting. Number one, there is not a special meeting on this agenda. Cannot do that. It's not called for, number one. Number two, they will have to call for a special election. And if they need any revision to their budget, now's the time to do it. If they need to revise it, submit it to Davetta and go through the procedures, then to the election board for their approval. But otherwise, if we go this route, you have to call by special meeting approved by the legislators. And according to our agenda today, it's not approved if we call it. The agenda says Kiowa Indian Council continued annual meeting agenda from April 6th. So it is not a special meeting call. Thank you.
Ticket number 003. Laurel Talkorty. Laurel Talkorty.
Announce other, no, they didn't bring that up. Also, other business was not discussed either during our meeting today. So that could have went under other business, but that was not discussed. Thank you.
Ticket number 080. Tammy Wood. There she is, Tammy Wood. All right.
It matches 080. Yeah.
What did I do with mine?
Yeah, go pick a prize.
046. Rita Brewer. 046. Go get a prize.
Go pick a prize out with you.
They're going to be a part of the grand prize? Yeah, she came. And then my sister, I knew that was her. 933. 933. Lance White. Lance White. Yeah, she did. Oh, yeah. Better get over there for the good ones are gone. Yep.
Okay,
Keep it. There's a grand prize. There's a grand prize. Ticket number 081. 081. Dottie Proctor. Or is she? Oh, in the back. Dottie, you in. Keep your ticket. The prize is over there. Maybe about 3 or 4. There's a couple of hats. 947. 947. Jeremy Ramirez. Right there? Okay. Here she comes. How many prizes are left? How many prizes? 2? 2 hats? Jeremy Ramirez. They're going to be a grand prize. You got one? Ramirez, Jeremy?
Jenny Ramirez.
Are you sure?
I'm a Rivera.
You have bad handwriting.
Okay.
093. Oh, is that it? You got 2 hats, I think. Let's wait on that one. That's Rose Niconi. Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you. No, it's not. It's Rose Niconi. 093. 093. There may not be any more prizes left. But we're going to draw for the grand prize here. The flat screen TV. And so 3 grand prizes? Oh my God. 4 grand prizes. 093? Okay. If there's a prize, I don't know. Keep your tickets. We're getting ready to draw grand prizes. There are 4. Flat screen TV, 2 gift cards, and a hotel stay at the Kiowa Casino. Okay. Here we go. Is mine in there? All right. I want the flat screen TV. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. What fourth? You want to do that? What's the 4th part? Let's do that. Gift cards. All right, the 2 gift cards. Okay, the first one is for a $50 gift card. All right. 893. 893. Jared Tartza. $50 gift card. Oh, it's $100 gift card. Jared Tartza. Yeah. There you go. Okay, 2 1 free nights. 062. 062. Lily Ganaway. OKC. I know it. One more, one free night. Listen up. 045. 045. June Dankall. June Dankall. Now this is it. All right, here we go. Drum roll. Here we go. Grand prize. 100-inch flat screen TV. No, I don't know how big it is. It looks big. Are you ready? Are you ready? 055. 055. CC Sato. Let's see your ticket before you pass out. Yay, CC, score. All right, watch a ball game at CC's. I want to thank everyone for your participation, for your patience and endurance. One phase of the governmental process has been completed. And before you leave, there's food to go boxes, so help yourselves. But I want you to know you have exercised your right as far as the Kiowa Constitution is concerned. You have done your job. You have voiced your prerogative as part of the tribe. For that, we are grateful. It continues to go on. The implementation process will continue, and we will improve that process. Not everybody is happy. We understand that. But it helps to achieve the goal of implementing our new Constitution. So again, we ask your patience, your understanding, and pray for the judicial branch that we will have that in place soon. I hope.
I've had enough. I'm going to blind myself. Do away with everything. But it's over. Yeah, it is. It's over. Yay! You should be happy. You should be proud. And I'm sitting here by James Bear, and when I started talking, I said, these guys listen to serious crap. Just in only like a week ago, he would have stabbed it. He was looking for the soft part there.